What has just taken place? The market has just changed the course of events. Overnight, everything altered completely. People are in a state of terror. One of the analysts reported that there is something suspicious going on. Do they want to deceive us? BlackRock massive accumulation restarts. The future of Shiba Inu may be altered as a result of this. In the near future, Shiba Inu may eliminate certain zeros. What exactly is going on? And what on earth am I even referring about in this sentence? Please allow me to elaborate. Welcome to Dr. Crypto, your daily serving of Shiba. This is the spot for you if you're curious about anything related to Shiba. If you want to keep informed about all the latest news forecasts and stay ahead of the crypto industry, subscribe. To get more Shib news, be sure to click the like button. How are things going? Over the course of only a few days, Shiba Inu was on fire, soaring higher and higher, and the joy that was in the air was beyond comprehension. The people were now able to let out a sigh of relief, and they had the impression that they had just recovered from the devastating losses that they had endured over the course of the previous several weeks. Following what seemed like an unending stretch of seeing Shiba Inu descend lower and lower, this rise gave back optimism for the future. Shiba Inu seemed to have finally broken free from the downward cycle for the first time in a while, and social media was vibrating with excitement. Traders were rejoicing, and it appeared like Shiba Inu had finally broken free. But the situation is very different now than it was before. The power dynamic has shifted, and it is not in a positive manner. Suddenly, Shiba Inu has experienced a precipitous decline, and the self-assurance that was beginning to build up only a few days ago is now being replaced by uncertainty. Investors have been taken aback and are now attempting to comprehend what has just taken place. Before things go much worse, some people are paralyzed, uncertain of whether they should continue to cling on or cut their losses. Others are of the impression that this is nothing more than a temporary setback before another upswing. And then there are others who have seen this occurred an excessive number of times in the past. Even if they are aware of the unpredictability of the cryptocurrency market, they nevertheless find themselves wondering, is this simply another difficult period of time, or is there anything more significant taking place? The dread is beginning to return once again. Suddenly, the exhilaration that was being fueled by the buzz is changing into a kind of doubt. But let me tell you something. It is possible that this is merely a momentary setback. An expert is of the opinion that Shiba Inu is genuinely getting ready to make a significant return. Ali Martinez, a popular market observer, made the observation that Shiba Inu is still maintaining its position above an important support level. If purchasers begin to re-enter the market, we may see a significant increase of 50%. He went so far as to say that if momentum builds up, there is a possibility that the price may potentially rise toward a much higher level. And what do you think? It was just a few hours ago when Shiba Inu had a small drop below that crucial level, but it quickly rebounded and went back up again. The fact that this pricing zone is a critical battlefield between sellers and buyers is shown by the fact that this happens. Javo Marks, another analyst, is likewise rather optimistic about the market. He said that Shiba Inu is still adhering to a breakout pattern that began in the latter half of 2022. This statement was made around 1 week ago. If this trend continues, he forecasts that the value of Shiba Inu might increase by around 500%, which would be a change that would radically alter the course of the game. If that were to occur, the whole atmosphere around Shiba Inu would be completely transformed. On the other hand, not everyone is now confident that a rally is on the horizon. Is there a significant problem? It seems like Shibarium is losing its momentum. At the beginning of the year, it was processing millions of transactions on a daily basis, but as of late, currently, that number is just a small fraction of what it was before. That is a precipitous decrease. It may also indicate that fewer individuals are utilizing the network, or that curiosity in the ecosystem is waning. Both of these possibilities are possible. What comes after this? It has been suggested by some experts that a breakout is on the verge of occurring, while others believe that we may first see more declines. Recent events have resulted in the destruction of a significant portion of the meme currency supply. This means that the tokens in question are now permanently stored in accounts that no one will ever be able to access. According to Shiba Burn, a small number of transactions have resulted in the eradication of tens of millions of Shiba Inu. Is this another indication that there is a new surge of interest in decreasing supply? To what extent was it a one-time occurrence? Now, everyone is keeping a tight eye on the situation to see whether or not this momentum will continue, or if it was simply a passing fad. However, hold on. You may still be wondering what exactly is going on here. What factors are contributing to the current ups and downs in the price of Shiba Inu? So, let's take a step back and examine the situation from a more holistic perspective. It is because Bitcoin, like it always has been, is at the center of everything. And what do you think? Recent events have resulted in a decline for Bitcoin, and Shiba Inu has followed suit. This morning, the cost of Bitcoin has recently dropped to the area of 113,000, matching the precipitous decline that has occurred in the cryptocurrency market as a whole. But why is that? Now comes the most bizarre part. Something peculiar was seen by one of the analysts. Immediately after the conclusion of the conference, President Trump made a bold declaration: "Your Bitcoin should never be sold." Wouldn't you agree that it ought to have been a trust booster? Is this a hint that he is on board with cryptocurrency? To put it another way, not precisely. Because of what transpired after that, everything was sold. In addition, the analyst also published a statement. A snapshot of the price chart for Bitcoin reveals that Trump's comment was quickly followed by a significant drop in the price of the cryptocurrency. What about the caption? "Another rug from Trump." What a con that is. I find it strange. This may have been a mere coincidence, or could there be anything more going on here? Were major players already making preparations to sell their shares, using the excitement generated by the summit to provide the ideal exit? As an alternative, is there anything going on behind the curtains that the general people is not being informed about? This takes us full round to the Shiba Inu breed. Due to the fact that Shiba Inu has a tendency to follow Bitcoin whenever it travels in this manner, as if a domino effect were to occur. As soon as Bitcoin begins to see a decline, meme currencies experience an even greater decline. In this very moment, we are seeing just that. But now for the most important question: what caused Bitcoin's price to fall if it was supposed to be sustained already? Are you trying to deceive us? Is there a significant item that we have not yet learned about? In other words, if this was intended to be a great event for cryptocurrency, then why does it seem like the complete opposite has just occurred? The most crucial question is, what does this imply for Shiba Inu in the days that are to come? While normal investors are selling the major players in a panic, they are doing the exact opposite of what is being done by regular investors. Take, for instance, BlackRock, which is the most prominent asset management in the industry. After selling a significant quantity of Bitcoin over the course of the previous week, they have just reversed their strategy and begun purchasing coins once again. With this move, a string of Bitcoin outflows was broken, putting an end to what may have been a third consecutive day of money flowing out of cryptocurrency exchange-traded funds (ETFs). To what extent does this matter now? Mainly due to the fact that when significant organizations like as BlackRock begin to load up, it is often not by chance. These men don't let their feelings influence their choices. When they see an opportunity, they relocate. Just a few days ago, they were selling billions of dollars. But what about now? They are now making purchases. According to the opinions of a few experts, this may be an indication that institutional investors are returning to the market. In addition, what happens when large amounts of money begin to pour back into Bitcoin? If it turns out that this is the beginning of yet another wave of institutional purchasing, then it is possible that the current decline is nothing more than a great setup for what is going to happen in the future. Moreover, here is the thing. The Shiba Inu owners are not going to back down, regardless of how unstable the situation becomes. The situation is familiar to them. They recall the year 2021, when Shiba Inu went from being just another meme currency to pulling off a tremendous rise, which resulted in some early investors becoming billionaires. One would be hard-pressed to ignore history of such kind. It is precisely for this reason that a great number of people are still hanging on, preparing for the next major move. Additionally, there is a certain price objective that keeps creeping up, which is the level that would indicate a return that would completely transform the lives of people that got in early. A number of specialists believe that it is feasible. In 2024, a crypto sheriff made a prediction that Shiba Inu was about to go on another huge run after breaking out of a crucial pattern. And further, cryptocurrency YouTuber by the name of Luckside Crypto said that large investors were piling up and support levels were beginning to fall, both of which are indications that momentum may be developing. However, there are those people who are not persuaded. However, despite this, Shiba Inu owners are not giving up their dogs so lightly. Since they have seen the potential of this token, they are keeping their fingers crossed for yet another historic run. However, what are your thoughts on this matter? Leave a comment down below. The day is over now. Remember to give it a big thumbs up. To see our most recent material, share it, and subscribe to the channel.